this is the rear shelf out of my W124, and I'm going to paint it with some SEM paint. Somebody prior to this had, looks like some tweeters in here. So there was one there, one there. They had some hideously mounted, look at this. This is where the little safety kit goes. When I got this, there was just these two speaker grills. The lid was gone. So I found a lid that was the wrong color. I'm gonna try to paint that as well. But to get these to fill in here, just take a little wire brush and kind of just work the fabric around these. Pull that fabric back up and get rid of that circle. Okay, and when the paint goes on, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to, you know, this is soft still after 25 years, but it's going to harden it up a little bit, but it's discolored and just yucky. So let's see, there's that. Almost got rid of that ring. Just work that fabric. Sorry about the deep shadows. It's a bright sunny day. All right, you can see I still got to fill those two. I'll show you what I'm going to do for that. My back speakers I replaced with some 6-inch speakers. I ended up cutting around the grill. The grills were broken and fragile. They age and get very brittle. Everybody knows that if you have these cars. So I've glued them back together as best I can, and I've cut them out, the grills, so that these fit. Maybe later on I'll show that to you, but it's not real pretty. But you know, the grill still fits over the speaker and you can't see it, so that's it does not clip in, but it does cover the problem. This one I already brushed out, so that looks pretty good. Okay, what I'm going to do to fill these little holes here is inside of here. Since this is already botched, I'm going to take a little bit of this fabric right here and just cut this off and mount it in. Back side of that hole, I just put a little piece of yellow tape just to put some backing on it. Nothing fancy. Take this out. This is useless anymore. Yeah, that's one of the original mounts. Okay. And then I've cut a couple pieces of this, and I'm just going to take these and just pop these in here so we can kind of get rid of that holy look. And I'm going to count on the paint itself to hold these in place. This is not going to look perfect, but it's going to look better than a hole. Now this is already pulling this out, so I don't like that. Okay, just a little before and after, you can see the discoloration where the safety kit lid goes, and then the discoloration where the emergency third light goes. And generally it's really discolored back here. Hard to see in the video here. There's some discoloration. These are not fun to get out. It's very durable, the material that it's made of. So I did some bending on mine. I think it might have flexed right in the middle, or somewhere around in here. It might have actually flexed really bad. You know, this car has 200,000 miles on it. I'm not looking for perfection here, but I do want it a little bit nicer. So we'll start doing some rattle can here and see how it goes. So here's first coat, and I may not put much more on this than that. If you look at the difference between the faded and right about halfway, you can see the difference right away. It's really a big difference. Here's a look at it from here, so you can see the color. I'm about halfway done with that. So that original color is really much more striking. There's the lighter color. Here's the car. That area's not looking too bad. All right, I'll continue with the rest. My lid cover, you can see it's brown. It was black. It's kind of a dirty brown. I had some brown paint before I sprayed Palomino on it. I wanted to, well, actually this is called Camel. This is clear color coat Camel, which is a better match for Palomino. The Palomino color is actually a little lighter than original, so I looked online and found a forum that said this was, actually no, it was an Amazon review, said this was a better color match for Palomino interiors on a W124. I don't know about other models, but so I'm gonna try hitting this with this lighter color and see what happens. I've got the little piece covered there, so when I can peel that back, it'll reveal a nice green safety sign. But you know, overall, I'm okay with the two-tone actually. Even if it turns out a little lighter, I'm okay. So here's the area where I put the plug in, where that tweeter was. Doesn't look too bad. I tried not to paint stuff down in here too much because you're not going to see it. It's going to get covered. This one didn't turn out quite so good, but that's all right. It's still not a hole, and I could pick at that. It is, it's in there. It's not coming out. The paint has, I went a little thick on the paint there, so along the sides here, on the back, this is the part that's pretty visible in the back lid of the car, so overall pretty pleased. Good enough. So one reason I did this rear deck was because this gap right here was terrible. It was up, it was sticking up right here horribly, and I couldn't get it to match, and it drove me nuts. And so I read that, you know, there's these eccentric bolts that you can get to, and that's why the whole deck had to come out. It's the only way to access them. It's what your trunk pivots on, so they're right in here. And once you get that off, I've already done this. That's the bolt that it pivots on right there. So you can see, or maybe you can't see, mine was adjusted down. It came down about 1/8 of an inch. There's a paint mark, hold on, right there. I don't know if you can see that paint mark, but it came down about 1/8 of an inch, and that's when it was finally an adjustment. The trick that I found was, though, this is like a, I don't know, 13 mil bolt, but in here, this is like a 15 mil, and I had to make a special wrench to fit down in there. I just took it on the grinder, and you thin it out really, really, really thin to get down in here and adjust this concentric bolt. And when you turn it, it does come down. So that's what happened. Now this car's been rear-ended at some point, and I really think that's where the misalignment came from initially. I don't know if these bars got bent. I tried all the adjustments on the rear trunk lid, and it just didn't help. So this finally closed the gap. I'm still not, the gap is not great going all the way down left and right. So that's another issue, but now the trunk fits. It's not sticking up in the front of the trunk. It was driving me nuts. So that's that eccentric bolt that you can get to once you get this whole deck lid out. Okay, before you fit the panel, make sure you hook up your third tail light. Okay, this goes in like this, and these little tabs here. Oh, let's do that little tab there. The open spot faces down. Okay, and that's just going to slide right in here. So I'll try to do that now. One-handed. That's it. Okay, and then your tail light right here, those prongs will slide directly into that, and I'm going to put this in later. Okay, so that's ready to go. I added some extra padding back there, some foam. It's probably overkill, but here we go. Okay, here's the finished product, minus the speakers. I'll try to show those later, but everything's installed. my little kit here. It's gonna just have to be two-tone. Maybe I'll do the roping on the headrest a little darker brown or something, but it looks a heck of a lot better. And I'm gonna do the headrest, that'll look better. Most of this stuff is straightforward. I didn't go through and tell you how I got it completely out or completely in, but it's all doable. There's two tabs right here that I missed taking out. So if you are doing this right here, make sure you take these out before you try pulling the whole deck out, or you'll tear everything up. So I may put up a couple of pots in here or something, some little shallow basins. I could store some stuff in there. Just didn't feel like doing it right now, but looks pretty decent.